everyone, it's Monica, and today I am going to be doing a little bit of a haul video. This haul is going to encompass some books and some clothes, most of which I picked up during my recent trip to London, some of which I've just accumulated since my last vlog haul in Paris. So I thought I'd talk about some of those things. I didn't think I would be doing a book haul at all here in Paris. Actually, it's probably a bad thing that I'm doing a book haul because I have to get all these things home. So I'm just gonna kind of go in order of when I purchased things. So I'm gonna start off with something that I didn't buy actually in London, but I bought here in Paris. And that is this coat. So when I was packing for Paris, I only really had a week to plan and prep, and when I was searching, it kind of seemed like it didn't get that cold in Paris, you know? That's what Google told me. Well, Google lied. It gets real cold in Paris, or at least I'm a total baby when it comes to the cold, and I forgot about that. So I only brought this like really light jacket with me. I was freezing, and all the coats that I was looking at online were like super expensive, and then I found this one in Zara. I'll link it in the description box below if I can find it on the website, because I just love it so much because it's this beautiful baby blush pink color. It's just like really chic, I think, and only has like one button, and it buttons pretty low, so you can like, if it's not really cold, you could just wear it like this, and if it is really cold, you can like put a scarf on and be super cozy and bundled. And I just love it. I think it's so like perfect for me, and yeah, it's one of my new favorite things. So then I also, because I'm me, placed an order at ModCloth. In my defense, they were having a huge sale, and they had an item that I have been searching for 2 years, I think. I think this is the second year I have gone searching for this item. And so basically a couple years ago, Urban Outfitters had these really cute corduroy pinafores, and I loved them. They looked awful on me. So I've been on the hunt for a corduroy pinafore that is more of a fit and flare style, and that is exactly what ModCloth had. It's this really beautiful deep red color, and I'm gonna have to put this on in order for you to actually see it, but I love it because it is that pinafore style, and it is more of a fit and flare. But then the pockets are hearts. Do we see this? It's like even better than the Urban Outfitters one that didn't look good on me. It's just perfection. So the other thing that I bought from ModCloth I think goes under the not afraid to be obnoxious with my fashion category, and that is this just glorious cat Christmas skirt. Yes, yes. Has there ever been a skirt that is more my aesthetic? I don't know. Christmas and cats. It's like everything I love in the world. And then the final thing that I purchased from ModCloth are a pair of shoes, and these are the things I was like the most worried about, and I kind of felt like there's a really good chance I'm not gonna like these, that they're not gonna fit, that they're gonna look funny on my feet, and I'm just gonna want to return them, but I'm not gonna be able to. These are gonna be super annoying to return from France, but I got them, and they are perfect. And they are these brown short-heeled shoes, and they are just so comfortable and so perfect. Like, okay, so here's the other thing. Like I said, I had to pack real fast, and I didn't fully think through my shoe packing decisions, and so I only brought black shoes, which is fine. Like, I've been dealing with it, but I wear a lot of blue. They add this like cute charm to every outfit. So then after that, I headed to London. Actually lived there for a few months back in college and just fell absolutely in love with it. It is tied with New York City for my favorite city in the world, and a place that like one day I would like to live for a longer period of time. And it was just amazing being back there. And I did pick up a couple of things. The first place that I went to was Simply Be, and Simply Be is like a plus size fashion store, and they have a lot of really cute stuff. I had actually never shopped there before, but I had like looked at their website, and it was awesome just being able to like try things on and see how things fit, and I'm in love with their brand. So the first item that I got there is this dress, which I call my Slytherin dress because it is a deep green velvet, and I just love it so much, and it's so comfortable, but it also like feels dressed up, so it's just perfect. And the other item that I picked up is this corduroy blue snap skirt. So it has like the snap buttons going down it, and I really love this one. It's super kind of like 70s vibe again, and really comfortable, and just looks really, really cute with like sweaters tucked into it, and I just love it. And now I finally got my corduroy fix because I have been on the hunt. Corduroy and velvet, two fabrics that I've just been really wanting and failing at finding, and I found them in London because London is magical and wonderful. The last fashion place that I went to was, of course, I had to make a stop at Primark, and I actually, like, I ended up trying on a billion different things, and I liked a lot of stuff. Like, I wasn't in love with anything, which was like very different from where I was a couple years ago when I used to live in London, and like literally I bought so much stuff from Primark, and I still wear a couple things, but I did find one item of clothing there that I liked enough to purchase, and it is this sort of blousey pale pink, kind of blends in with my skin top, and it has one of those like choker necks, and I like this tucked into skirts. It's just super easy, but also looks dressy, and it was like £5, and I love a good £5 top. So yeah, those are all of the fashion-y items that I picked up while in London. Now I'm gonna hop through the books that I picked up. So while I was in London, I was incredibly lucky to be able to meet up with Jean from Jean's Bookish Thoughts, Anais from Clockwork Kitten, and Simon from Savage Reads. These are some of the most amazing people on this planet. I just adore all of them, and I will link all of them down in the description box below in case for some reason you haven't subscribed to them yet. They are just great, great people. And of course, we had to go book shopping. We started off at the Word on the Water bookshop, which is what it sounds like, which is a bookstore on a boat, and it was definitely one of my favorite places. It was just so incredibly cozy inside. I wish I had like filmed more. I literally think I took one shot from the inside, but inside was just like wonderful, and I would love to just live there forever. Then we tried a couple other bookstores, but they ended up being closed, and I learned a lesson about Googling before making plans and making your friends walk like an hour for bookstores. My bad. So we ended up at Foyles, which I was really excited about because I hadn't been to Foyles since they opened up their new like flagship store. And while there, Jean recommended a couple of books to me. The first one is Equal Rights by Terry Pratchett. So I've been really wanting to get into Terry Pratchett, but I just never know where to start because there's so much. So it worked out because Jean is a massive Terry Pratchett fan, so she was the perfect person to be shopping with, and she recommended a few different books to me. This is the one that really called to me because it's about the first woman to be a wizard, and then on the back it says, where does it say it? Where does it say women can't be wizards? So it's sort of this like equality, feminist, magical novel, and that just spoke to me on so many levels. Also, the cover is just really beautiful, so I'm excited for this one. I've read the first couple pages and I really like this style of writing. It's that sort of almost Princess Bride style writing where like the narrator has a real voice, like it really feels like a narrator. So I'm excited to finally read my first Terry Pratchett book. This next one is one that I think I literally put my hand on it for a second, and Jean was like, have you read that? And I am so excited to read it because it is one that I have been wanting to read for quite a while, but it's one that I've been, to be honest, a little bit afraid to pick up, and it is Grief is the Thing with Feathers by Max Porter. This book is supposed to be basically a giant metaphor for grief and dealing with grief, with this father and his two sons dealing with the loss of their mother. For me, I tend to be very wary of grief books, but there are also books out there like A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, which have done so much in helping me deal with my own grief and deal with how I approach grief and think about it. And so because the reviews for this have been so incredibly positive, I feel a lot more comfortable picking it up, and I'm very hopeful that it will be as good as everyone says it will be, and I think it will be. I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. So I'm I'm not gonna say excited to read this one because I'll probably cry, but I am very much so anticipating this read. The next day I made it over to one of the bookstores that I really wanted to get to that ended up being closed the day that we were all hanging out, and that is Persephone Books. Now if you haven't heard of Persephone Books, they reprint out of print novels that are mostly written by women or about women, trying to raise up these voices that have been forgotten by time and culture. I think that's an incredibly important thing. So often a lot of the books that we consider classics and the authors that we consider important are white male authors, and not to discount the genius of their novels, but I do always sometimes wonder, like, why is it that those are the novels that we as a culture have deemed important, and what about all the ones that we've forgotten? And I love the idea of taking art that has been pushed to the side or forgotten or just wasn't marketable at a certain time, and bringing that art back and rediscovering it today. And I think that's incredibly important. So I'm so excited. I picked up 2 books from them. I wanted to pick up the entire store. And the first one I thought was very fitting for the theme of the store. And that is No Surrender by Constance Maud. And this is a novelization of the women's suffrage movement. It was written a couple years after it all took place in the UK, and it's, from what I understand, it sort of brings together a variety of the movements throughout women's suffrage. So often when we think of that time period and the suffragettes, we think of them as one monolithic group, but in actuality there were multiple groups all sort of advocating for their own advantages. You know, so you had aristocratic women who were like, we should be able to vote because we own land, but if you don't own land, you still should not be able to vote, which is absurd today, but back then it was a real hot debate. So this is sort of looking at those different levels of suffrage and just the like the interpersonal experiences that happened during that time period. And I'm very, very intrigued by this one. As you can tell, this is not the sexiest of covers. It's very plain, and that's sort of the hallmark of a Persephone story. They're all in these very lightly differing shades of gray with just like the simple title on it. The spines all look the same, and then they have the number on the sides. This is the 94th novel that they've published. I believe they've only published like 170 something. Then when you open them up, on the inside they have these really like flashy prints, and these are actual fabrics that they've discovered, like vintage fabrics that they then use in order to sort of exemplify the feel, I guess, of the novel. And then it also comes with a bookmark that has like a quote from the story itself. And I really like that. I think the design aesthetic is just beautiful, especially when you have multiple of them. So yeah, one day I want to have a whole collection. The other book that I picked up is Marina by Monica Dickens, and this one has been compared to books like I Capture the Castle. It's supposed to be very much so a just a picture of this person's life. The way that they described it is that it could just be Marina, an Englishwoman, because it depicts her life from when she's a child to her present day, which is a young, recently married woman. They basically sold it to me by saying it's the perfect book to sort of read on a winter's night, curled up, bundled up by the fire. Not that I have a fire, but if I did, oh boy, would I read by it all the time. So yeah, these are the books that I recently purchased and the clothes. Let me know in the comments down below if there are any books that you've recently purchased or that are on your wish list that you really want to get your hands on so that I can add them to my wish list for when I'm back in the States. So excited to go book shopping and to not feel so much guilt. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye!